Hey guys, and welcome back to another video by me, Blute084 Art and Games. We're here on my YouTube channel once again to do another polymer clay art creation video. So if you are sort of confused on what I do, I kind of do pretty much everything on this channel. I do a little bit of paper art, do digital art, I do more of that over on Twitch, do polymer clay here, and also play a few games here and there if I've got no art project going on. So don't forget to go and check those out. But if you have been watching the first episode of the new series on Disney Plus, that would be Moonknight, and you are looking to create something for yourself, this is how you can make yourself a Moonknight, or should I say khonshue for Moonknight, which is the god of the moon and hunting and all the other stuff. It does explain a little bit more in the series itself, so I definitely recommend going and checking that one out for yourself. Or if you want to do, you can go check out the comics, and I may be listening to those over on my Twitch channel, so if you want to find out a little bit more, come over there and find out about that. But we are making this one today. This one again is khonshue, completely made from scratch and all the other things. I will be telling you which materials I used, what painting I did, and all the other good stuff to actually get around to doing it. This one's a little bit more different. As always, I have a little bit of a kitsch to what I make, and everything I make is available, as well as this one, up on my Etsy channel. That's etsy.shop/Blute Creations. There should be a link either down in the description, or there will be a link or flashed across the screen for you, somewhere on the screen if you want, if you can see it. But yeah, this is what we're going to be making today, which again is khonshue, and hopefully you will enjoy it. Let's get on with the video. Okay, so here's the reference that I'm going to be working from. As you saw at the very beginning, the khonshue figurine that I made. I'm going to be working off this picture you can see on the screen here, and yeah, I did try my very best to get to as close to that as I could. Some of the things that you'll see in this video will be techniques that I use quite often, and materials that you'll be using is some wire. This wire here I would definitely recommend going a bit thicker, because I found it was a little bit too thin. I had to wind it around itself to sort of make it a bit more sturdier. I'm going to be using Fimo clay. As always, this is a polymer clay, and it is soft, so it's very pliable, and it's a lot easier to work with than other clays. You're going to get yourself some tools. These are just my plastic tools that I use for pretty much everything. You can get yourself on different ones, harder ones, and probably a bit more sturdier the ones than what you got there. You're going to need some wire cutters or pliers for this, obviously for the when you use your wire, and sort of be cutting it up into the right shape, and for bits and odds and ends just in case you need them. I first start with my wire, as you can see me sort of faffling around here with the wire, getting it to the right sort of height, getting it to the right place where I want it to be, and sort of just mapping out the skeleton of the figure that I'm going to be making. Again, we're making khonshue from the popular new TV series on Disney Plus, Moonknight. Also, if you're a fan of the comics, you should know who this character is. It is the main character, or sorry, it's not the main character, but it is the god of Moonknight. But yeah, like I was saying, we're going to be making the skeleton as such for the figurine that we'll be making. You can do this for everything that you make. I've made a giraffe also, and made loads of other different things, and once you're happy with that, again, like I said, I had to wrap it around, curl it around itself to make it a little bit more sturdy, and I would recommend getting a bit more thicker wire for this. But once you've done all the main parts to your skeleton, if you like, it's time to bulk out, and you bulk out a little bit of the body, and you can do it with the arms as well, but I think I don't actually do the arms this time. And you bulk it out so you've got a nice sort of body shape to it. This helps, one, to just to sort of when you start using your clay, to use a little less clay, so you've got a little bit more spare if you're working to a budget, which I am actually working to a budget. Talking about my budget, this will be available and is available up on Etsy, my Etsy channel. There will be a link at the bottom in the description if you want to go and check it out, or I'll flash one across the screen right now. Yeah, well, we'll put the first layer of clay on, and after we've got that, just the basic body part, because this is the very beginning, the basic parts to it. Got the body shape, got the clay on where you want to put it. Again, use that tin foil to bulk it out, and we're ready to bake it. And once we've baked it, it is nice and hard and sturdy. You want to bake it for about 30 minutes at 220 Celsius or Fahrenheit. I think it's Fahrenheit. But yeah, a low temperature. If you don't know what temperature these are, a low temperature, and you want to leave it in for about 20 to 30 minutes, no less than 20 to 30 minutes, and you don't want any higher because you will start to burn the clay, and you do not want to do that because you'll have to start all over again. And now working on the legs itself, I'm I'm mapping out what shape and what size I'll need for the thighs, and also the shins and that sort of area of the body of the leg. I do the same thing for the arms as well. I'm not worrying too much about the feet right now. I just want to get the legs in the right shape because I want to put them in the right place and make them sure that they fit, and it's not it's equal in each side, and you're not getting a bit of a weird that leg looks longer than the other sort of thing, because I've done that a few times, and just make sure that the legs are the right length of each side. But yeah, you just wrap your clay around the wire, make sure it is fastened and secure, because what could happen inside, so if you leave a little gap, you can leave some air bubbles in there, and it will destroy what you did once you get down to baking. I'm going to leave you with this as I get around to getting this done, and hopefully if you're going to have a go yourself, you have a go yourself. Okay, so now I've done all the arms as well. Again, you want to make sure that they are sort of in the right pose. Before you get around to baking, because we're getting to that point where we're doing the second bake. Do all the bits like you want to do. So like the head, I had an idea if I did a ball before doing the head, that I would be able to do the skull type shape for the face, because you'll see at the very beginning it has a bird skull, or khonshue has a bird skull. Then we've gotten around, like I said, there you can see that skull there. Again, with firm and steady. Now you cannot reform this at all. And there's the skull. Like I said, I did it off camera because I sort of did it whilst it was baking. I thought, I'm just going to carry on a little bit and get this done. I left a little bit of wire sticking out because I wanted this head to be sort of floating. I'll give the impression that it is floating. But yeah, this is all hard and sturdy. So this is the last, that before was the last point. You would be able to pose it the way like you can in reference picture C, and I wanted it to be as close to the illustration as possible. And doing the hands, I'll show you quickly how to do a hand. Just roll up a bit of ball, flatten it out, and then cut your fingers. You sort of use your fingers to make other fingers. Hands are tricky, so I would definitely take your time when making the hands. They are very finicky, especially to stick them on. You want to add a little bit extra, and again make sure you get that pose that you want your hand to be in before getting ready to bake. We're not quite there at the third bake. This, I think, in total took 5 to 6 bakes to get everything completely finished, but there's one handle done, and we'll get on to the next. Okay, now we've, like I said, all the main parts like the hands and body. That was just the basic part that I was going to be putting on. Now I'm going to be putting on some extra clay on top of it to bulk everything out a little bit. Because again, it was like if you think about it, you've got the skeleton and you've got the muscle structure, and then you've got the skin layer and then clothing on top. Now I'm doing the skin layer. I did do a little bit of wrapping for the body, because he has actual wrappings of like mummy wrappings over his body instead of clothing. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm making it look a little bit like wrappings first, just sort of emphasize that he has wearing wrappings, and then I'm going to go over with like a sausage, flattened, a slow snake, if you like, of clay, going all the way around the body and also the legs and a little bit around the arms. Not too much, because you'll see why I didn't do too much to the arms later on in the video. But now we're going to getting on to the clothing. He has like I don't want to say a skirt, but I don't know what it's actually called, but it has a little bit of something around his waist. Again, it's not wrappings, and it is a garment, so I'm trying to get close to the image, as you can see in the bottom right there, and get to the close. He has like a triangle piece at the front, a little belt, and a little like sort of skirty thing around his waist. As I said, I do things off camera. I didn't have time to actually record me doing the cloak part to it, but again it was the same process. I just flattened out a load of clay and popped it over like I did the skirt piece, stretched it out and make it look and give it a few ruffles here and there to get it done. And again, that was I think that was the fourth, maybe, yeah, the fourth bake. Now getting into the sort of chest, what will you call it? The brace over the shoulders, and the same process, if you want to do this, was done for the cloak itself. You should just sort of get yourself a piece, flatten it out, get to the right shape that you want it, fold it over, and then he's all ready to go. Oh, no, sorry. We're going to be doing his feet. Same process as hands, but obviously you want this to hold your character up. I didn't have much problem baking this stood up, but I do recommend, if you're going to bake something standing up, you put something behind it, like a cup or something that won't melt in the oven. Again, you're going to be putting it at a low temperature, a very, very low temperature, like gas mark 1 if you're using a gas oven, and leaving it for about 20 minutes. You want to keep checking it though, especially if it's standing up, because it can warp a little bit. It did happen to this character, but only towards the end, whilst I was doing the final bake, and I put the head on and I was like, everything's good, and looked back at it, and all of a sudden his feet were not looking like exactly like I had made them, but only in the sense that there wasn't enough. Like I'm trying to put here, I'm trying to put enough so he would stand on it, and I didn't quite put enough for him to stand on. I made his toes and thought to myself, so I've made all these toes, how am I going to put like feet? So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Now time to put the head on. I've got myself a little screw because I forgot to make myself a little hole. So I got myself a little screw and pushed it into the head because it was already baked and hard, so you can it's a bit easier to do. I should have made a hole before I baked it, but I didn't really think about that. And now that the head's fixed, again I wanted it to be a little bit more like a bobble head. So it moved around a little bit, so you could sort of put it into different poses if you pleased and if you liked. Again, this is up on my Etsy channel, so if you're a fan of Khonshue or Moonknight, then definitely go over there and check it out. There will be a link down below in the comment section, or sorry, in the description. Also, I'll flash one up right now. Well, you can't be Khonshue without his staff and his moon staff, and that's what I'm making now. Again, get a bit of wire, make sure you put a little bit of wire in there, makes it that little bit sturdy. You can use other things to make it sturdy, but as long as it's bakeable, then you're all good. I wouldn't use a pencil, and I wouldn't use anything that is plastic, because it will melt and it will deform, and you'll just have a load of stink coming out your kitchen, and you probably gas yourself. And I wouldn't recommend doing that. So yeah, get yourself a little bit of what is it called, wire. Again, you probably would like to go a bit thicker than the wire that I'm using. I'm making his conch to go around his neck, and I use a little bit of thread later on to put that around his neck. Yeah, there's his everything is ready. Just needs his last little bake to bake the feet, bake the staff like you see there. It's all hard and stiff. Put it in his hand. Again, I use a pencil to keep the shape of his hand. I baked the staff separately. There's his feet, and you can see there his feet is warped a little bit, just so he's like almost like he's giving a little bit of a stand to it. But he stands up pretty well, which I'm quite happy about. And now gets into the fun bit of painting. I'm going to be doing about 3 to 4 different coats of paint. One coat I will use like a grey. I'm trying to just use a grey browny dirty colour, but very close to, well, you know, off-white, should we say, white. A little bit of water because you're only doing the base coat. Get it nice and wet, so it'll soak into the clay. Because if you think about it, you only do it if you're going to do painting a wall. You do a base coat and then you do a main coat, and this is what we're doing. We're doing a base coat to cover up the clay. Completely cover up the clay in the whole same colour. You can go darker or you can go lighter. It depends on what your end colour is going to be. I went lighter this time to actually make it easier to paint the white later on and the lighter colours. But I've been going over the whole thing with this paint just to pre-coat for the main coat. I've left that dry now for roughly, well, I left this dry for a whole evening because you can air dry it, leave it dry itself with this paint itself, acrylic paint. This is what we're using, and you can see the difference between no paint and with paint. Hopefully it was a little bit shiny. Yeah, you don't really want to use the paint that I'm using. This is a bit of a more too glossy. But and as I was painting the feet, I was thinking to myself, should I do those wrappings a little bit more? Should I put the darker colour on them? Should I make them look a bit more dirty? And I thought to myself, yeah, why not? So I made myself up a bit of a muddy squash, gouache or whatever, and sort of super watery. Got myself a bit of paper towel, as you saw there, and went over it with a very watery brown / black / whatever other colours I had in the palette. Mixed them all together and went over that, and then after I'd done that, dabbed all the excess off. It helped make the sort of the wrappings look a bit more like wrappings, and also in the gaps between, they were looking a bit too white, so it's sort of giving them like they're a little bit aged, almost like you would age a piece of paper. And that's what I tried to do here, just to give it a little bit more detail to it. And I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I'll leave it to the end of the video to see what you think of it, but let me know what you think of it in the comments. And if you've tried this yourself, have you had a go at making this one for yourself? And yeah, let me know what you think of it. And we're done, complete, like you saw at the very beginning of the video. But now you've seen how I actually made this one. Again, this one is Khonshue from the comic of Moonknight from Marvel Comics. And let's give you a little bit of a close-up and a proper how it all turned out. Hopefully you have found this useful and do like the details that I've put in there. I did put on his conch, like I said I was going to do, around his neck. I like the picture reference you see. And I was saying about the wrappings, hopefully that has gone and made them look a bit dirtier than they originally were looking. And there's a little bit of this staff there. And the head, it's still movable. It is a little bit fragile than I would like it to be, but that's because of the wire, like I was saying in the video. But it's not going to come off. It has been moved around quite a bit, and it's been left and right and turned around and all sorts, so it's fairly durable. Let's give you a closer on the back, so you can actually see where I put all the riffles and ruckles and his bits and bobs, and on the braces that I said, and hopefully the skull is actually looking a bit more boned since I put that black wash over it. Yeah, that one is complete and finished and is ready for sale. Again, the link should be in the description if you would like to purchase this one or anything that I've made on this channel. You need to go and check that out. Otherwise, if you're just looking for stuff to watch and how to make certain things or certain creations, or if you've got an idea, let me know in the comments. You can check out the playlist or Creation Station for those other videos. Again, paper art, digital art, polymer clay, and even a little bit of VR. We're going to VR playlist for that one. If you're in for gaming, let me know what games you want me to play. Otherwise, I'll be getting on with more of this sporadically. As you can see, I'm not in my not in my house that I used to be in, so I kind of like here and there where I'll be making these products. But there will be always up on my Etsy channel. Don't forget to go and check it out. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching. Click the links that you will see if you want to see another video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.